So when I was like still a youngster, like a teenager and shit, I think I was still dealing with some psychological issues from the abuse of my parents. But basically, I think I was just kind of a stupid ass knucklehead, blood. And I was getting myself all kinds of fucking trouble all the fucking time. And Uncle Reggie couldn't have that shit, blood. Uncle Reggie had a lot of different operations going on at that time, and I was bringing heat to the fucking house, like, constantly with all this stupid shit I was fucking doing. And that motherfucker had enough of me and shit. Yeah, that motherfucker sent my ass packing, blood. He sent me up to Washington State. And I probably ain't gonna say the name of the town. It was a small town in Washington State up in the Pacific North fucking West. I was there for a while, blood. They actually, 2 different occasions I was up in Washington. The other one was when me and Stench, we got into some trouble and shit. We had to duck out for a hot minute. We stayed up in the rainforest in Washington for a couple months. Shit was wild, blood. But for right now, I'm just gonna talk about when I went there the first time when I was a youngster, cause it was a trip, blood. It was so fucking different than Vallejo. The people, the population. I mean, California diverse as fuck. And if you like Google that shit, the most diverse cities in America or California, it's gonna pop up Vallejo, Suisun, California, Oakland. And them's all the places I lived my whole fucking life, blood. I lived Suisun, Fairfield, and Vallejo. Not really Oakland. I never lived in Oakland. But going to Washington was so different. And the difference was both good and bad. I mean, they wonderful people up there in a lot of fucking ways. But when you in a small town in Washington State, you get your ass in trouble real quick. Them fucking cops up there, blood, they ain't got nothing to do playing in them small fucking towns. And when you show up out there, you some motherfucker from Cali or something like that, but you become a big deal to them. And it was weird though, blood, because this is like my first experience in a small fucking town. Yeah, I love small towns in America. I love going to different small towns, but like the first day I started meeting people. And from my own personal experience in life here in Cali, like when I was living in Fairfield or Suisun or Vallejo, it's just, there's a lot of crime out here and shit, and people ain't really like that outgoing. But anyway, there's definitely a noticeable difference though in like just the way people are and shit. And yeah, like I said, it didn't take me long to find some motherfuckers, but you might notice some fucking, I somehow come across the bad motherfuckers, like the local hoodlums and shit. And that's why I started running with them when I was up there as well. And like I said, it didn't take long to get in trouble up there. And I think one we'll talk about on this Sherm story is when I beat the fuck out this dude. It's a pretty fucking crazy experience. And I don't think I'm gonna show no links, but I'm gonna probably show some pictures of the whole fucking, this cat, cause he's a creepy motherfucker, blood. He deserved everything that he got, player. Every fucking thing. So like I said, it didn't take me long to start kicking with all the bad motherfuckers in town. And one of the baddest kids, blood, is fucking wild, cause his parents, like his mom's was the fucking dean of the high school and shit. And this motherfucker was quite a few years older than me, but he wasn't that old, blood. He was into all kinds of shit. But I remember, this is fucking wild what happened though, blood. Cause we was riding the fucking bus. And in this town, you didn't have to pay for no fucking bus, blood. The buses was fucking free. But my homie, he fucking on there, he laced me up about some fucked up shit, blood. He telling me about this girl, Michelle, player. And I knew her, blood. She was a cool chick. And how this motherfucker terrorized her and tried to rape her and shit at his house. It was this fat, creepy old motherfucker. And I'd seen this cat before, blood. I knew who the fuck he was. And he was like old, blood. He was like in his 30s and he was trying to hang out with us all the time and shit like that. And dude's little crummy, little rat, little fucking, I don't want to call it apartment, it was like a shack, but everybody would go there because it was a place you could get fucked up, and dude would like hook you up with shit too if he had money. He'd buy you beer or whatever. But he was a fucking predator, blood. He was waiting for his chance, player. And he finally fucking got it because this girl, Michelle, stayed over there by herself. Everybody left and it was just him and her. And as soon as he got the chance, blood, he fucking pounced on her, blood. And it was a pretty horrible story, you know, and you a youngster and you all about gossip and drama and shit. And this shit got my blood boiling. So he telling me all this shit. And you ain't gonna fucking believe what happens, blood. That same motherfucker gets on the bus, blood. And I should probably describe this motherfucker too, cause he's just creepy looking motherfucker. And I guess he kept telling everybody he half Korean, but he don't look like he Asian at all. But he definitely got an Asian last name. And I think he probably really is like half Korean, but he just a weird looking motherfucker though. So me and my homies on the bus, and we both fucking zooted. And my homie, he pretty fucking big cat, blood. I don't remember how old he was, probably like 17, something like that. And he fucking pretty yoked though. And that creepy motherfucker on the bus, but he ain't got shit, but he fucking short, stocky, unhealthy looking, big fat pudgy motherfucker. He ain't got no muscle on his body at all. So this cat, when he gets on the bus, but he comes and sits pretty motherfucking close to us, like, and he looks over and says, "What's up?" to us, like we friends or something. And then immediately my boy starts just talking hella shit to this fool. But this motherfucker, he ain't like apologizing or backing down or denying it or nothing. He just talking shit back, blood. And he laughing about what my homeboy's saying to him. Like, he thinks it's funny that he being accused of this shit or something. And it starts getting pretty fucking heated. It gets loud enough that fucking dumbass bus driver just stops the bus and is like, get out, and just tells us all to get out, which was just fucking going to invite a situation. And actually, me and my homeboy, we wasn't that fucking far from where we was going, blood. I don't know where that fucking creep was going, but bus driver kicked us all out. And as soon as we got out that motherfucking bus, blood, it was on. So as soon as we get out that fucking bus, blood, we in front of these ghetto apartments. It's like a small town, they only one set of like apartments that's like low income and shit, and that's what we dropped off in front of. And my boy just immediately lock up with this cat. They start wrestling, and they go to the fucking ground. And my boy's kind of like not really winning, not really losing, but then he looks over at me, and this motherfucker looks me dead in the eye, and he says 2 words, blood. He says, "Kick him." And that's exactly what the fuck I did. So from right where I was fucking standing, that creepy ass low life fucking child predator motherfucker, my boy's got his hand at his throat and shit. And I had the perfect opportunity, blood. I remember taking 1 step forward, had that forward momentum going, blood, and I just gave that motherfucker a football punt like you wouldn't fucking believe. And it was a perfect fucking connection, blood. Since my boy grabbed this motherfucker's throat, blood, he had his face fucking spaced out perfectly, blood. And my foot fucking connected right to the roof of his mouth and his nose and shit. And I hit this motherfucker hard, blood. Then I just remember kicking this motherfucker over and over, blood. And this fool's just stopped fucking resting. He went into fucking turtle mode, blood. Started trying to cover up in his shell and shit. And then we just got to stomping on this fool, blood. We stomped this motherfucker good, blood. And like I said, play, it was a fucking bloodbath. But he was just screaming like a fucking bitch, blood. And I started getting kind of worried. So we fucking bounced, and like I said, we didn't have far to fucking go. So we got to our spot, and I remember it was a great fucking night. We kicked these 2 beaties and lived down the road from where we was kicking it at. Got some Thunderbird and shit. It was good times. But yeah, I just Googled that motherfucker too, blood. And I read all this other shit that cat did, like stalking women, torturing animals, murdering animals in front of people and shit. Oh yeah, blood, he raped a retarded guy, blood. So he raped fucking women and men, retarded people. He fucking murdered, tortured animals, blood. I did a community service.